early half of the last century, a subculture, or counterculture, of art, film, and music has established itself alongside that of mainstream media.
Crazy.
Inspired by artists such as Andy Warhol, John Waters, Jim Morrison, and Christopher Cooper, I attempt to discover if a subculture of art exists in modern-day Ireland.
Well, here in Kerry, I guess my interest would be mostly in music. So over the last few years, there's been a strong kind of alternative musical community here. I think, like with most alternative structures, it's based on a kind of core group of people. They seem to organize a lot of events. They'll really keep it going, you know, and other people then will follow them. The only reason it's alternative is that maybe it's not so palatable for everybody.
Like, each genre or each artist has their own specific thing that they like to do, whether it's the medium they use or the content that they create. So it's very hard, I think, really to kind of put somebody into one specific thing, unless they're only creating it for popularity or for the aesthetic value rather than any actual important message.
It seems artists will always gather and create art and music because necessity dictates that they must. But is it art?
My work continuously provokes people. I would have taken on several performance pieces throughout my life, and I would have been known within the local community as somebody who taught. So I would teach at Leaving Cert level, and then I would have lectured at third level. But also I took part in things like football and things to do with the Rose of Tralee, etc. I was the 98 Kerry Rose at one point, and 2 years after I had represented Kerry and my face would have been fairly well known, I then had an exhibition in our main local gallery within Tralee Township, Satira, and it subsequently became nicknamed the Furry Fanny exhibition because of the work was dealing with a sexual nature. So this totally provoked controversy because Kerry Group, who were the main funders at the time, actually pulled their funding from Shamesel because of my work was too close to the nerve. Myself actually and another German artist, it was requested our work be removed from the gallery because of its theme really. Now, I didn't nickname it the Furry Fanny exhibition, it was local media that nicknamed it that. Mine was actually, my work at the time, I was only 22, 23, was actually dealing with the differences between men and women and the roles women play in society, much like the mother, the worker, the main sort of, I suppose, the glue that holds everything together, that she no longer has just one role in society. So my work was dealing with that. But because people become very embarrassed by a topic that they find maybe a little bit uncomfortable to talk about, they laugh and they mock it. And then as a result of that, my work provoked a lot of controversy. And then of course, because I made a lot of people feel very uncomfortable within their own skin, when I was to show again in the gallery, my work had to be screened. And that then puts, what's the word I'm looking for, censorship on an artist's work, and there should be no such thing as censorship on an artist's work.
It depends on what their goal is. If their goal is to make a statement and to genuinely try to change something, then sure, they want people to react and they want people to see what they're doing. Depends on their goal. If they just want to make their art for the sake of the art, if they want to make it for themselves, then it doesn't really matter what others think.
I think there's always going to be people who are creating things to challenge, specifically just to challenge. Say there was recently the video that was up on YouTube about Muhammad caused, you know, a lot of trouble, a lot of freedom of speech issues and religious issues. I'm not a fan of that personally, because that's kind of like creating something specifically for the intent of causing a fuss. and I think the fuss is more about the person wanting to get the attention that is then caused by the fuss, rather than having it as a kind of an actual social issue. They just want to make a fuss so that they can go, look what I did. So the creator of that particular video, I'm sure he feels great because it got blown up so fastly that he would get a kind of gratification. He would get a lot of gratification out of the fact that there was such a large hullabaloo made about the video that he did.
A subculture of art would suggest that artists do not necessarily care what the public think about their works. This seems true for some, but not for others. It would seem that for art to be accepted, it needs to be conservative. This suggests that art must follow certain procedures to stay traditional and satisfy the majority. Creative expression should surely be considered vital in the world of art, but does it have its limits in today's society? Artists who set out to potentially provoke through their art are oftentimes trying to make a statement about something they feel passionate about, or simply the need to challenge public opinion. The need to challenge public opinion is vital, but it would seem that the general consensus is that certain types of art do have their place. So the question remains, when should an artist be concerned with how his or her artwork will be received by the general public? Although I did not discover a collective of artists belonging to a specific subculture, I did learn that there are artists in this part of Ireland who are unafraid of expressing themselves, even if it means being unpopular and having to suffer more than those who achieve commercial success by remaining safe.